Good afternoon. Today, well, good evening. It's a little bit before 8 o'clock, and I posted some video and still shots today taken around my property and around the neighborhood. So you might want to check it out. Rem Milligan is the profile, and the page, which is my journal page, is Tiered Justice, Equity, and Equality. So I'm going to read some writing today, starting with last night, very late. I don't know how much more of this psychological abuse I can take. My captors have not gotten better, they've gotten worse. And I'm more disbelieved than ever. There's a lot of emotion outside, a lot of commotion outside this evening as the monster garage gets built 2 houses west of me. There is so much technology in the environment right now. It's sick. I guess people aren't concerned about the devil living amongst them. There is no reason, I suppose, to resist it. It is the sentiment. Nobody is helping me out in anything. Then this morning, so I'm stuck at home until I'm able to get a locksmith over to my house to make a car door key and unlock my gas cap because I'm nearly on empty. I could drive Toby, but he screams down the street with a detached tailpipe and exhaust system, and I only carry comprehensive on the vehicle. The police want to do all sorts of shit to me because they believe lies told to them, and they disbelieve me because they discriminate against the disease of addiction, and blame my persistent attempts to get help on a disbelief that was only given attempts to get help on a disability that was only given because of there being no reports of crime on file with the division. They dismissed 2 federal offenses as petty theft and never did any investigation. My neighbors are creating things that, when I report, they sound delusional, even though they really are happening. And the shit show continues, and more technology is introduced into the environment. And neighbors who have answers refuse to give them to me. I am a neighborhood slave, silenced and voiceless in my community, and believed to be something and someone that I'm not. It's not a game or a movie. This is real life, and everything has been ruined in it because of a disbelief in RNM and V2K technology being real. People think because these things are made up that I am creating a story or excuse for my life being the mess that it is. The police refuse to help me, even though I've asked them to look into a number of things that are all real. The police tell all my friends who call in that everything is a mental illness, so I get no support from anyone, and nobody believes the truth of everything I tell. Trying to escape continued torture. So it keeps on going on. Someone wants me completely destroyed or dead for no reason other than hate for something that's not a choice, but simply what I am. Everyone is an addict of something, and most are in denial that they do at least one thing a little too much in their lives. I'm surrounded by addicts trying to create a future for me by making things happen and making things up for no other reason than to harm me for one single purpose: to illegally, but legally, force me out of the neighborhood, calling something else because they believe lies told by someone they believe is telling the truth. My neighbors stay silent because that's what the police say to do. They, guilty of crimes, stay silent, and the police do nothing at all after so many requests of help. On my Honda, Harry, I only have 2nd and 4th gears. I sometimes have 1st gear, but 3rd and 5th are ground to the null. I should have remembered to keep the brake lines for fingerprints because it's odd that they went out all of a sudden. I bet they'd hoped I was on a freeway, driving confidently fast, a bit faster than the static gridlock of traffic, and needed my brakes, and would have had a high-speed collision and get killed. One very rare day, I was rushing to Micro Center and back, driving Toby and exceeding 100 miles per hour, which is unsafe. But my captors made me worry, using V2K, about a break-in and a planting of drugs. I went there to get SD cards so that my security cameras constantly record in a loop. So if anything is disturbed, I can go back and take a look and see who's doing it. I don't know how people are getting into my home so easily. Not only is my body not mine anymore, but my home is a playground for someone. And he thinks everything that's mine, he has a right to. Boundaries are to be respected and honored. But the government has set the precedent by going all the way. So the logic of perps is quite understandable. Since it's illegal search and seizure, if they get caught, it's probably why the Poopee Bucket has not been analyzed and collected. That's where, here, I'll show you. This is the Poopee Bucket. You can see that it's got actually liquid in it. There's moving liquid. This is drywall, mud, or joint compound. And it looks like it was used as a toilet, and it smells that way too. This happened in 2020, and it was a surprise one day when I opened it. So I've told the FBI twice, once to the forensics unit, and a number of times in the 76 reports that I have filed and tips that I've left. So, oh, and I let the CIA know too. So that would be another reason to get killed, you know, because I probably have DNA evidence in there. Ooh. If they ever get around to it, they are welcome to a sample opened outside because it stank to high hell almost 2 years ago when I opened the lid. I've kept the bucket ever since. My mom told me to throw it out. So did Will Davis, who uses strange words like decompensate that must go to either Trevor or Scott, who in turn give it to Netcare, and it ends up on probate court paperwork. Netcare uses a lot of his information. That's how they put on paper delusional beliefs about RNM and V2K, which are both provable and real with documents from the internet. V2K, or the microwave hearing effect, by an article printed in 1974, and all the dismissed cases that have the grounds for dismissal being a matter of national security. You might ask, why is that important? Well, if RNM weren't real, the ground for dismissal would be a frivolous lawsuit. Because it isn't, and because the NSA has used it for the last 20 years, at least, means that it is real. The proud, arrogant government accidentally telling the truth of the existence of RNM by telling on itself. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Like NASA, with the, quote, challenge of deep space travel being getting beyond the Van Allen belts. Our magnetosphere. Everyone's got a brain. How do you use yours? Have a good evening, everybody.